Sahana bhavatu, Sahana bhunaktu, Saha viryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Yaptam Yatkim Chisacharacharam Tatpadham Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. To Gita Jnanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Mrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadasadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangapadakramो Panishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyana Vastita Tadgadena Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyam Tanavidusura Suragunaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Ahantva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Suja. Hari Om. Let's chant the sloka 24 of the 4th chapter. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Magno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Brahma Karma Samadhina. Together. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. We introduced this sloka last time and said this is the essence of whole Vedanta is packed here. Although we chant this sloka before we take meals, but if you understand this sloka, you understand the whole Vedanta itself. So Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havihi. So last time I mentioned there are several ways of looking at this Samanadhikaranam. When the two words are joined together, how one interprets depending upon from what angle you want to interpret. So here Brahma Arpanam are the two words starting with. So Brahma is Arpanam. Arpanam means the ladle. So this whole sloka is about a yajna, about yagam that a grihastha does, because sannyasi has renounced this. So this sloka itself is meant for a grihastha like us. So this, because there are some philosophical discussions that say only sannyasi can realize it. But this is where the sloka says it's a realization by grihastha himself. And this yajna itself is being done as a daily Agnihotra, is being performed by a grihastha, a morning and evening, as a part of his vidhi karma, nitya karma. So a grihastha after marriage, within 6 months, he starts his Agnihotra and continues until dies, and that same Agni is used for Dahanam also. That is our scriptural statement. Of course, we are not doing any of those, but at least we have to understand what the implication of this is. Now, Brahma Arpanam, and the broader meaning is, in fact, Shankara gives a very broad meaning of this sloka. So, in any action, if you take any action, there are 5 factors involved. One is karta, one who is doing. The karma, the whole action itself. Karta, karma. The kriya, the process of doing it. So, karta, karma, kriya. And there is a karakam, there are instruments for performing an action. Any action involves some external as well as your own instruments, which are essentially hands and legs and all that, plus additional instruments you need in order to perform the action. They are called all are karakam. And the 5th one is phalam, the result of the action. The phalam itself has 2 aspects involved in most of this Vaidika karma. One is a tangible result that you perform when you take a sankalpa and perform an action and says, this is why I am performing it, and therefore that is the result that you will get out of it. That is the immediate result, tangible result. There is also intangible result that comes out of it, is a punyam, papam, and so on and so forth. That also comes out of this karma, where you do performing is for yajnartham or for the sake of the Lord. I do this as a nitya karma, just like any sandhya vandanam and all that. That is a nitya karmas. Sri Mahavishnu Pretyartham, that's how you do. Whenever you're doing a Vishnu Sahasranama, it says in that. And then you read phalam, I say, I want this, that phalam is not for you, because you already did for Vishnu's sake, for the sake of the Lord, to please the Lord. How do you know the Lord is pleased? When you are pleased, the Lord is automatically pleased, because the Lord is inside you. So you have to be pleased in performing that action. That's all implication of that is. Now, this Brahma Arpanam, we are trying to analyze this methodically. So he starts with karakam, the instruments for any performance. This instrument that you are using for yajna's sake, for where it's a ladle itself, Brahma Arpanam, that is Brahman. That's a statement. So how can that be Brahman? That's what we are trying to analyze it. How can the ladle is inert, Brahman is prajnanam, Brahma, consciousness is Brahman. So obviously that's not valid. Brahman itself is infinite, but this is a very finite, very small thing. So how can that be Brahman? But when the scripture says so even though there is an apparent contradiction in the logical analysis, there's something deeper meaning obviously involved. And that's what is implication of why Krishna himself is saying that. So when Krishna himself is saying Arpanam is Brahman, so we have to see what he means by that. What is he trying to indicate as called lakshyartham, not vachyartham? Vachyartham means direct, immediate word meaning, doesn't make any sense. When the word meaning doesn't make sense, we have to go to lakshyartham. What is implied meaning out of that? Now, how can a ladle be Brahman? So if not ladle, now for any action that you are doing, same thing has to be applied. So any instrument of action has to be visualized as nothing but Brahman. That's what the implication is. For yajna, for the Agnihotra, the ladle is the instrument. For other things, other instruments are the upakaranas, or the instruments for the action. And when I am performing it, as I am performing it, as I'm using the ladle to pour ghee into this one, I also have to have a vision that this is not just a ladle, this is Brahman himself. So how can that be possible? And that's why I was trying to analyze the epistemological aspect involved. How does the knowledge takes place itself? Because if you really go into deeper, that is indeed true. We take things granted as though the world is real. As we see, this is only a ladle. It's only a form and limited shape. That's what we take it granted by our vision, because our pramana or means of knowledge or proof of knowledge is based on our perception that I am seeing, therefore it is. I see it, therefore it is there. That's our implication. But now, let's ask more deeper, because we are Vedantic students, or also science students also, to inquire what exactly we see. Do we really see the instrument, what we are seeing? What we are saying? We are saying that we are seeing this ladle. But what we are really seeing has to be understood. And that is lakshyartham. Implied meaning, where I had to redirect my mind from what I see to what is the reality behind what I see. That has to be understood. So in this process, I was telling you, for every object that I see, what I see is not the object per se, but it is the attributes of the object. That's how I say a ladle is, a chair is. That's what I ask you to find out what is a chair or what's a cow. Anything I see is not actually the object that I am seeing. I am only seeing the attributes of the object. That's the first statement. Attributes of the object is the qualities of the object. That's why chemistry, if I give a chemistry student a new subject, find out what it is, he will try to find out by investigation what are its properties, chemical properties, how does it react with, what does it smell, how does it react with this substance. By that process, he is trying to deduce what the original substance is. Right? By looking at the power, obviously he cannot in this case. But by looking at a chair, he says, this is a chair. So how exactly the process of pratyaksha pramana, because that's what we go by, the whole world I am seeing, therefore it is real. That's what I say, I am seeing, it's eyewitness account, right? Therefore I see it, therefore it is real, is our basis of all our operation itself, but we never question what exactly I see. Now you think along with me, otherwise you will miss the whole thing. So what exactly I see has to be really understood. So if this room is completely pitch dark, and if I put my hand there, can you see? My hand is there, but you cannot see. Why do you say? It's too dark, I cannot see it. Now, think about it. The hand is there, object is there, but I still cannot say the hand is there or not. Why? There is no light shining on the object. That's clear. But I'll give you one more thing to think about it. I'm not going to answer now. How do you know it's dark? I can see. What? That I cannot see anything else. I can see it's dark. In what light? Let me turn the light on so that I can see the light? So that I can see the darkness? No, I don't know. In fact, if you turn the light on, there won't be any darkness. But in what light I am going to see the darkness? Think about it. But for the hand to see, for an object to see, I need a light. Right? We all know that. But think a little bit more. Do you really see the hand when the light is there? First requirement is, I need a light to see an object. Because my hand is not self-illuminating, it's not shining by itself. I don't need a light to see another light. Right? Hey, bring me torchlight, I want to see the sun. No, I don't need that. Because it's a self-shining. So things that are self-shining, I don't need to put light on top of it. It is self-evident. Self-shining is self-evident. But my hand is not self-shining, therefore I have to put a light on it to see the hand. This is all we know. Now think more a little bit. Do I really see the hand when you turn the light on? So yeah, I see the hand. And in fact, I can tell you how many fingers you have and how long it is. All that I can tell you by looking at your hand. That's what we say. But the fact of the matter is, you don't really see the hand. What you're seeing is only a reflection of the light by the hand, which reaches your retina and forming an image of that reflection only. And that image forms a thought in your mind. I say this contents of the thought is nothing but the form, shape, colors, all that is reflected by the hand. Right? This is all physics, simple physics. So what you really see, now be careful, what you really see is not the hand, it's only a reflected light by the hand. Right? These are all facts. Now, looking at the thought that rising in my mind, whose contents are nothing but the contents of the attributes of this hand, I say there is a hand out there because I have a thought in my mind, and the contents of the thought in my mind are the attributes that are gathered by my senses when the light is shining. If it is a form, it is a light. If it is sound, it is the sound part. So all the five senses only can gather reflected attributes. Not even real attributes. Reflected attributes. Because you cannot see behind my hand, because the light coming from this hand is not coming to you. Only the frontal vision only you can see. Right? Therefore, whatever only the reflected, depending upon the capacity of your sense organ, people are color blind. So even though colors may be there, you may not be able to see. So depending upon the sense organs, and some people's mind are not available here, they may be somewhere else. Even though I'm putting hand here, they cannot see because they are seeing something else. So mind has to be there. With all these upakaranas, these are called karanas, instruments of knowledge are required, from which the thought forms, and thought also is inert. And I illumine the thought. Just as the light is illumining the hand, without the light I cannot see the hand, same way the light of consciousness is beaming on the thought when the thought rises. And the reflected light of consciousness from the thought is called knowledge of the thought. Okay? This is what Vedanta Paribhasha analyzes. This is an epistemological analysis of Advaita Vedanta. Now follow the whole process. Without the light, I cannot see the hand. Right? But I am not really seeing the hand. I am only seeing the reflected light by the hand, which forms an image in your retina, which is transmitted through optical nervous system to your mind, to your brain, which converts into a thought in the mind, which is subtle. But thought is only like a wave in the ocean that is rising in the mind. Now, light of consciousness has to be beaming on that so that I can be conscious of the thought. So whenever thought rises, immediately you're conscious of the thought. I know what I'm thinking all the time. That means I am conscious entity. I am conscious of what thought is raising. This is the mechanics of the process. Now, little bit more careful. When I put my hand, it's not the hand you are seeing, it's only the light, reflected light, right? Same way, when the thought is rising in my mind, it's not the thought, it's only the reflection of the thought. Just as it's not the hand that you're seeing, it is the light that is reflected by the hand and forming an image, and that image is forming a thought. Same way, the light of consciousness is beaming on the thought, and that is getting reflected, and that is the knowledge of the thought. So now, what is the statement now? I am not really seeing the hand, I am seeing only the light. Same way, I am not seeing the thought, I am only seeing a reflected light of consciousness only. Clear? Just a simple analogy. Now look at what meditation is. Meditation is looking my hand. It's not the hand. It is the light reflected by the hand. Not this, not this, not this, neti neti, vakyani. All the statements in the scripture says it's not this. What is not this? It is not the object per se. Because I am paying attention to the hand. Don't pay attention to the hand. It's not the hand really you are seeing. It's only light reflected by the hand only you are seeing. Therefore, pay your attention to what you are seeing. I say, I am seeing the hand. No, I am seeing only the light reflected by the hand only. Now go this to the same level of thought also. It's not the thought that I am seeing. Only I am reflected light of consciousness from the thought. So meditation is, it's not the hand, it is the light that is reflected. Same way, it's not the thought, but it is the light of consciousness because of which I am conscious of the thought. It looks complicated, but it's a simple process. What is complicated is when you are looking at the hand, you get carried away by the hand. That's where the problem is. Oh, that's a hand. Oh, this is a chair. This is this person. Oh, this is a whole world of objects. What I am getting carried away? I am getting carried away with the objects, but I am not really seeing the objects. I am only seeing the reflected light from all those objects. So now, one more step. I need a light to see the object, right? Now, I need an object to recognize the light. Think about it now. I need a light to see the hand. But now I'm putting the next statement. I need the hand to recognize the light here. Because without my hand, there is a light there in the space. I cannot see. Why? Nothing is getting reflected. There is no object there to reflect for me to recognize the light even. until something else is reflecting, far away object. If it is completely space, nothing, no object, if the sun is shining brilliantly there, I will not be able to see sunlight, even though sunlight is there. That's why when you look in the night, in the full moon night, you see the moon there, right? Oh, today is beautiful. But remember, it's not the moon that you are seeing, it is the sunlight getting reflected by the moon. Because moon is not self-luminous. But I don't see any sunlight there. If you see another, there may be Mars somewhere. And that's also you can see because the sun is reflected there. In between Mars and the moon also there is sunlight, but I cannot see. Therefore, to see even though sunlight is all pervading there, to recognize the presence of the sunlight, I need an object, celestial object, there to reflect that. Then only I say, yes, I can see moon. No, I am seeing the sun or sunlight. Right? It's not the moon, that because of which the moon is shining. Same process occurs. Suppose I am seeing on the full moon night, I am traveling, I am walking around, there is so much of light, of moonlight is there. I am looking at the objects in the full moon night and looking at the object, now see what the process. Sunlight getting reflected by the moon, that reflected light of the sun is getting transmitted to the earth, that is falling on the objects, and that light getting reflected by the objects is coming to me. Isn't it? Now what I am seeing is sunlight. Now meditation is shifting my attention, recognize the presence of sunlight while I am walking in the full moon night and looking at the objects. Same exact process occurs in the mind also. Mind itself is inert. Light of consciousness, which is all pervading, falls on the moon, falls on the mind. Mind and moon are related, right? We call it, people are lunatic. The lunar things are related. So when the light of consciousness falling on the mind, it gets reflected by the mind. And that is called Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means reflected light of consciousness. That light that falls on the mind, once reflected, when there are thoughts rising in the mind, it falls on the thought. Which falls? The light of all-pervading light falling on the mind and then reflected, and the reflected light is falling on the thought and gets reflected again back to the mind so that mind knows there is a thought there. So mind acts both subject and object. I know is also within the thoughts that are rising in the mind. I am a knowing, yes, I know the chair. Why? I can see. So I am a subject and object, both thoughts are rising in the mind only. But who is this, all this process? Remember the whole mechanics now. Light of consciousness, which is all pervading. It's not located any place. Because Brahman, Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is infinite. But wherever there is a mind, wherever there is a mind, let's say, it gets reflected there. And depending upon the reflecting medium, the quality of the reflection is there, right? If the mirror is shining, all the light will get reflected. If the mirror is dull, then you have to polish it, otherwise it won't get reflected. If it is a thick clip, or if it is, when you take bath, after taking bath, all steam will be forming on the mirror, you cannot see, because there is a steam there, right? You have to wipe it out. If it is small thing, you can wipe it out. If it is a bigger thing, so you have to scrap it maybe. So depending upon the reflecting medium, the reflection quality will be there. This has nothing to do with the pure consciousness. He is always pure and brilliant all the time. Depending upon the medium of reflection, the reflection quality will be there. So the whole consciousness, which is all pervading, and as far as consciousness is concerned, this has nothing to do with this. If you ask Brahman, why are you reflecting? He says, what do you mean? I am. Just period. I am all pervading light of consciousness, nothing else. No sajate, vijate, swagata, vedas are there. No difference of any kind are there for me to reflect anything. So this all reflections are only at the level of the instruments now. The mind, because being a subtle, has the capacity to reflect. And being it's a subtle body, in the process it also became a shining thing. That means it's also become a conscious entity. As though, just as the moon is also a luminous entity in the sky. By itself he doesn't have anything. Same way, the mind also when reflecting the light of consciousness, it acquires the consciousness property which dribbles down to the body level and all that. Therefore, I say I am conscious. That's why it's called Siddhabhas. And that light from the mind which is reflected depending upon the quality of that mind falls on the thought and further get reflected. And that becomes a knowledge of the thought. Every thought is locused on objects' attributes. Because whenever I see form, a thought of form rises in my mind. Whenever I hear sounds, the structure of the sound is coming from the same mind as a thought. These are called vritti in Sanskrit. So every knowledge involves this process. What is that? Whenever I say I know this through perceptual process, what I am seeing is only reflected consciousness in essence. So if I understand this and not paying to the contents of the thought, but only seeing the light of consciousness that is getting reflected, that becomes meditation. Just as I need a hand to recognize the presence of the light here, I need a thought to recognize the presence of consciousness. It's not, so meditation is not thoughtless state as far as we are concerned. I need a thought. At the same time, it's not the hand, but it is the light that is reflected. Same way, it's not the thought, it is the light of consciousness that is getting reflected by the thought. So my attention should be shifting from the hand to the light that is getting reflected. Same way, from the thought to the light of consciousness that is getting reflected. Right? All this clear now? Now, from now on, when you say, I'm sitting in a meditation, what are you doing? Do I have to close my eyes? Do I have to do something? Do I have to sit in one place only? If this is understood, the mechanics are understood, then you can be in meditation anytime, anywhere also. Right? I have to go through this process. I have to shift my attention from the contents of the thought, which are nothing but the contents of the objects around, to the light that is conscious, because of which I am conscious of. That's why Upanishad says, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. In every knowledge, this is being revealed. And you are searching for all over the place. You cannot have, unless this is there, without that you cannot have knowledge of anything in the world. So all these mechanics, if you understood, this loka becomes automatically, it's revealed. What is this? Now one more step now. I said lot of consciousness is all pervading. But I need a hand to reflect this light, right? Where did this hand come from? So there must be hand and the light. Two different things. So hand has to exist for me to see through the light that is getting reflected. So there seems to be an existence aspect involved, which is not a conscious entity here. Right? Hand itself is just inert. So the world is the chair is there. Even though I am seeing the reflect light from the chair, there has to be something to reflect there. That akara is there, chair. So what is the chair? Independent of this process. Something has to be there to independently to reflect. How can you deny that that's not there? That's what a scientist will ask. That's why I ask you, tell me what is a chair? What's a cow? Tell me what do you think is really a chair? You say chair is there, but what is it? Tell me. I see, because you're only seeing the attributes of the chair, but is there substance chair there? That's what we are looking at it now. Attributes we already analyze now. So is there a substance chair to which these attributes belong to? So I gave homework. So define what is a chair or a cow. I'm sure you cannot, because any definition that you give is not complete in it to say that is a cow or that is a chair. Because every attribute has to have a locus for it. Otherwise, you cannot say a blue lotus. You say lotus has to be there for blueness to be there. Blueness cannot be hanging around like that and lotus somewhere else. So every attribute has to have a locus. And there is a lot of scriptural analysis of our Tarka Shastra when go so much deep into the analysis of the relationship between the attribute and the substance. I don't want to get into all that, but in principle, if you question these things, you are really into problem. Let's say a ring. Simple, I will give you an example of a ring. Say there's a ring. So how do I know? It says, I'm wearing it, it's there. But tell me what exactly is a ring. So you define it has a particular ID. ID means internal diameter. OD, outside diameter, some ellipticity. All those properties you give me to define a ring. Ring is a noun. Attributes are adjectives, right? That's what we say. But is really ring there? Is there a ring substance there to say that these attributes belong to a ring? See, I don't know what is ring. Just for the argument. You are showing me a ring. Sir, I see gold there. No, this is a ring. Oh, it's not gold? No, it's gold also. But it's ring. Sir, make up your mind. Is it a ring or a gold? Oh, it's the same, ring and gold. Are they synonyms? Ring is equal to gold? No, they are not synonyms. Then what exactly is a ring? I see gold, I can prove that it is gold. I can do chemical analysis, even spectrochemical analysis, any analysis I can prove, but you cannot prove it is a ring. If I beat it, there is no ring there. It was a ring, you just destroyed it. That's what you say. So where is a ring? Ring is only a form of gold only. So gold in that form you are calling unnecessarily one new name, a ring. Another fellow in a different shape is calling a bangle, and other one is a bracelet and a necklace and all that. You are giving different names for the same thing. Now, this ID, OD that I talked about, does it belong to gold? It doesn't, because the gold, the bangle says, no, this is a different ID, OD for that bangle. ID means internal diameter, outside diameter, size, all those shape and all those. Those details only belong to ring, not to the bangle, therefore not to the gold also. Gold doesn't have these attributes, IDs, ODs and all that. It may have different attributes, because all that shines may not be gold. All that glitters is not gold. So it may be different from iron. That's again different attributes, because we are only taking an example here. So from gold point, we are assuming the ring is really real, but there is no really ring. But why do I have to say ring then? To differentiate from bangle, that's all. Hey, in the other room, there are a lot of ornaments. Can you bring some gold? So if you bring a ring, hey, not that gold, another gold. Sir, tell me, you want a ring or a bangle? Tell me what exactly you want. So for purpose of transactions, I need names for these forms, knowing very well these names and forms are only superficial things for only purpose of transactions, called Vyavaharika Satyam. Actually, it's all gold only. Its value is how much gold it is. You may call it, oh, this is my wedding ring and it is more special, you have to give me more money for it. Yes, gold means you say nothing doing, this is only this much weight. You may have your sentimental value, but it does same problem. Value depends upon the contents of the gold. But I need these names, but if I am looking at in and through what is the essence of this ring and a bangle and a necklace and bracelet, I see it's only gold, 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 gold. So I had an interview with the gold. Mr. Gold, when did you become a ring? He said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So here is a ring. When did you become a ring? He laughed at me. I never became a ring. I am gold, I was gold, I am gold, and I will be gold. You unnecessarily called in this form as a ring. That is your problem, not my problem. Some gold point, it never became any ornaments. This is a scriptural statement. Yatha saumya ekena lohamanina sarvam lohamayam vijñāta vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. This namadheyam, the names that you are giving is vak arambanam only. It's only for the name namke vaste. You know, in Hindi it's called namke vaste only. This is all, nothing else. No reality for it. What is real is lohamityeva satyam. Only gold alone is real. And it does not transform into something else because it remains as a gold only. Yet, there is a bangle, there is a ring, there is a bracelet, there is a necklace, all varieties and identities of beautiful things are all over there. So a vision of goldsmith is he looks at how much gold, how much gold, how much gold only, right? And that is the vision of a jnani looking at Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnyau Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. This ladle is Brahman. Now, what exactly is any property of the material that you are looking at it, whether it's a gold or a bangle, it's only example I gave you, but even the gold and the iron, if anything, if you want to look at it, what exactly is the property of that? I say it's nothing but electrons, protons, neutrons. From electrons, protons, neutrons, gold, iron, resolve, there is no differences. It's only packaging only. Right? How the atoms are packed and how the atoms are packed into molecules, how molecules are packed into this, and you are only differentiating for the properties of the forms, but in essence it's only nothing but electrons, protons and neutrons. Even though I know all that, I still differentiate garbage from food. Right? There is no confusion. Even though I know the truth, garbage is still garbage and the food is delicious food. And there is no confusion. Say, oh, these are all electrons, protons. I'm not going to eat garbage and throw the delicious food. I discriminate at a transactional level, knowing very well at absolute level, it's all nothing but the same. That is what real knowledge is. Now, that is what essentially being pointed out here. And in that this arpanam, this ladle that you are seeing is differentiating as though this is different. This is a karakam. The instrument for this yajna is Brahman only. Recognize it is nothing but how? Because there is no fundamental material in this universe. If I want to analyze, I go up to electron and people are still banging those things and trying to find out what is the fundamental particle. And somebody said there is a God particle. The God particle also inert only. If our gods are inert, then they cannot create it. The fellow who is conscious entity who is banging it is much more important than the particle there. That they don't recognize. Therefore, whatever that I see in this world, I can keep on breaking it up, but I cannot find the fundamental law governed, because in the very process of analysis of the particle, I am excluding the conscious entity in the analysis itself. I am only analyzing part of the system and trying to say what is the whole universe is made up of. You will never arrive at it. Because the universe consists of both conscious entity and this inert entity together. Unless you take the whole system together and analyze it, therefore, Ramana Maharshi says, before you analyze the world, analyze who is the analyzer first. Validity of the analyzer first. Then everything becomes clear. So if I try to look at what exactly I am seeing, I am getting into electrons, photons, and I am still breaking it. I still don't know what the fundamental particle, dravyam, there is. And therefore it says, what exactly is, according to our scriptures, it is nothing but Brahman itself became many. What was there is existence itself is manifesting into varieties of names and forms. Why does it manifest? If you ask gold, why are you becoming so many different types of ornaments here, ring and a bangle and a necklace and so many things and varieties of rings and varieties of bangles and all that? Because these people, there is a market for it, that's why. Right? Why does goldsmiths sell all those things? Because there is a market, demand. So why don't you sell this kind of thing? If you give him a design, he will say, you will only buy that. Nobody will buy it. Why should I make it for you? If you want, you pay for it, I will make it. So it is based on the demand only these varieties of names and forms are created in this universe. So looking at these names and forms, don't get carried away with those names and forms, but look in and through the names and forms and arrive at what exactly is the essence of the names and forms. And that is the sloka here is. That's why this sloka is the essence of whole Vedanta itself. If you understand it, you understand not only Vedanta, the Upanishads, you understand the Bhagavad Gita, you understand everything else. But remember Mr. Jones' story I told you first time? Mr. Jones understood he was a man, not a rat. But whenever he was seeing cat, he was still afraid. Why? He thought the cat may not know that he is not a man, he is a man and not a rat. So our understanding that I am Brahman has to be understood as a fact, not as a thought. Everything is Brahman has to be understood at that level. While still operating, Arpanam is different, the karakams or the instruments are different. Knowing very well they are nothing but the pure Brahman only. Just as the ring is also gold, bangle is also gold, necklace is also gold, bracelet is also gold. I can still, knowing that it is total gold only, but I can transact with ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet as depending upon the utility of them. They have a utility, they have a name, they have form, their qualities, all belongs to a transactional level only. I have no confusion in transacting, knowing very well they are nothing but the gold and gold alone. Same way, I had to have the knowledge that everything is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. He is different, she is different, it is different, everything is different, every name is different, every form is different, every quality is different, every utility is different. Yet, in and through names and forms, I had to recognize that it is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone in varieties and varieties of names and forms. While transacting, just as a scientist transacts, garbage is still garbage and the food is food, even though all are electrons, protons, and neutrons. Same way, when I transacting, wife is wife, husband is husband, brother is brother, my bank account is different from your bank account, all that are at transactional level. But if I transact with an understanding, then you have a different attitude in the transactions. If I know this ring is gold, not made of iron, I will keep it very carefully, right? When I put it after removing it, I put it in the safe place. If it's a ring, I may throw it on the table. Nobody wears an iron ring, but if suppose stainless or some other rings. So once I understood that it is gold, my attitude towards the ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet are different. I keep it safe place. Once I understand it's nothing but everything is nothing but Brahman, Brahman alone, my attitude towards the world itself differs. So here, this sloka takes us Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena ganthavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. It is itself is samadhi. A meditation in the highest state where I am seeing Brahman everywhere in the instrument, in the karakam, in the karta, in the karma, in the kriya, in the phalam. Everything is nothing but Brahman, 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 Brahman only. If I have that understanding completely in every transaction that I am doing, then I am raising to the level of what Krishna is telling us to do. That becomes samadhi. Samadhi is not sitting in one place and going out of the mind. It is recognition, even the mind, everything else, instrument of the knowledge as well as the instrument of transaction, all are nothing but that Brahman and Brahman alone. That recognition, because we are cognizing as if this is separate object, this is separate object. That recognition is knowledge itself. That is the jnanam. Now, what do we do from now? You are all jnanis, right? We have to apply this in our life. Then only, even though we intellectually understand it, we have to make it as our real knowledge, as a factual knowledge, not just a theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge called the paroksha jnanam. I want to have it as aparoksha jnanam, direct, immediate. Whenever I am seeing it, I am seeing Brahman right there. Now I am not looking for Brahman anywhere, because everywhere he is there. Where I go? Where can I go without seeing Brahman? So wherever I go, I am seeing the Lord in that form. If the Brahman is too abstract, at least bring the Lord there. Lord is not only, remember I told you in the Karma Yoga, cannot but be a devotee all the time. Devotion is not in the temple. Lord is not only in the temple. Everywhere His Lord is there. Therefore, I have to be a devoted husband, devoted wife, devoted son, devoted student, devoted employee, devoted neighbor, devoted citizen, devoted human being also. Why? Presence of the Lord is seen everywhere. That knowledge that Lord is everywhere is same thing here. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. The karta, karma, kriya, karaka, phalam also is Brahman. So what do I get? I just revel in Brahman itself. And that, my friends, has to be practiced now. This sloka is an indication that says now we understand completely the significance of it. So now, how can I put this so that I can see what it really is? Because this is not a theoretical something. It's what exactly, that's why I gave you a more detailed scientific analysis of there is no other way you can see any object otherwise. Therefore, every object that I am seeing is only nothing but Brahman himself is getting reflected in the process. So if I can put that in the practice, whatever I do will become a devoted action. Not that prayer only, arati in the temple is a devotion. No. Wherever I do, it has nothing but the devoted action because I become a full-time devotee because I see the Lord everywhere. So every action becomes a prayer. So when I am praying, we have to be very careful now. Because every action is a prayer. We cannot make some lousy laddus and give it to him and say, this is because I don't like it, so let me give it to the Lord. I cannot do that. I have to make the best possible and offer it to him. Which means every action that I do has to be the best. Then only he will be pleased. If you give lousy laddus, he won't take it. That's why he is just watching to see what are we going to do. So, which means every action that I perform has to be the best that I can do. And that becomes natural for a yogi. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. The one who is performing a yogi, he cannot but do best whatever he does. It's not the action per se, but the attitude in the action he puts maximum best effort that is possible for that body, mind and intellect. It may not be the best required for this situation, but it is the best that he can do. I'm raising my children. Do as a best parent. You have to give the values to them so that they can. In fact, Indian parents have to work hard because we are in the society where they can easily sidetrack. So it becomes your responsibility to make sure that what I have inherited from my own parents has passed on to the generations also. The value, they won't understand otherwise. That's the children. That's why we have to give the value so that they can pass it on to the next generation. That responsibility becomes ours. If you don't pass it, how can they pass it? So it becomes our responsibility as the parents, as the teachers, as everybody to make sure our next generation also knows this, our value of our Sanatana Dharmam. And that's why we have Chinmaya Mission, Bala Vihar, because we know it's difficult for the parents. But parents themselves don't attend. We don't need it. Only children need it. Children won't learn. After a few years, they will say, oh, I don't need it. Then they stop. Afterwards, you complain, oh, my child has gone this way, my child has done that way. Afterwards, later it becomes a problem. So only when it's a small plant, you can bend it. Afterwards, you cannot bend it. Right? So that's what yajjad acharya shreshtaha tattadevi rojanaha. So pramanam kurute lokosto dhanvartate. So parents have to follow the values that they want the children to follow first. They have to value first. Then only the children will follow what the parents are doing. Not what they are saying. Right? That's what it is. So even the teacher, even the follower, this is Brahmarpan, this has to be done as a structure itself. The whole, that's why it's called our religion itself is called a way of life itself is set by that. Because that is the attitude that has to be used. So here we say Brahma Arpanam. So the ladle is Brahman. Now we understand what exactly he means by that. From the existent point, it is existing in only ladle is only a form there. But in essence is nothing but the Brahman only. So Brahma Havihi, Brahma Agno, Brahma Nahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam. Even the result of the action is also nothing but Brahman and Brahma Karma Samadhina. If I have that understanding, the mind is always in Samadhi. Because that is real Samadhi. Whatever I am transacting with, even though I am transacting in the world, yes, I go to office, I come back, I do all those, whatever the transactional things has to be done because I am located and whatever the location I had to do, that becomes my Swadharma. But while transacting, my mind's attention, part of the attention is always in that. That's what is Shruti. A musician, A Shruti is always what? Shruti is a background, right? He doesn't do apashruti. So tung tung, that tambura will be going on, or some background Shruti is there. He goes all over, up and down, arohanam is going all over, but he doesn't go apashruti. In the little background, he always knows what exactly is the Shruti is. In the same way, Shruti is the scripture statement, you are that indeed. That knowledge has to be kept in mind as I am transacting all over the world. That knowledge should not be left. The reason it is leaving after the class is over, we are back to it because we do not have that full Shraddha. We think, oh, we are all faithful. So we're God-fearing society. We believe we have faith in the God. But God said, I am everywhere. Why are you coming only to the temple? No, I don't see everywhere. I see only in the temple. That means I don't have complete faith in the Lord. I told you, if you surrender to me, I will take care of you. You surrender again, you worry about it. That means you are worried that God is not going to take care of it. See, our faith, we think we are all faithful. But think about it, what exactly? Swamiji says, Tan, Man, Dhan, Sab Kuch Tera Hai, right? Everyone, first time you say, this body, this mind, everything is yours, Lord. So Lord says, okay, this fellow is giving today. His body, his mind and his intellect, his property, everything he has given to me today. Put a date and all that. But next day again he comes, same thing again, he says, Tan, Man. I say, this fellow yesterday he gave it already. How can he have give it again? You cannot give twice, same thing. That means he has not given the first time, right? That giving can only be done once in your life, once I understood this fact. Until then, at least practice it. Oh Lord, one day I will give it. With that notion. So that, to keep this knowledge in day-to-day practice, what should I do? Start today from now on until there. First thing is recognize the presence of the Lord everywhere, at least in few moments when you get up in the morning. When you are not perturbed, think of the Lord presence everywhere, including in your wife, in your child, in everything. See the presence of the Lord, including the boss you don't like also. When I recognize that in the morning itself, oh Lord, I'm going to see my boss. I know he's a rotten guy, but you are able to be staying with him. If you can tolerate him, why cannot I tolerate only few minutes? After all, he's staying there all the time, right? If he's putting up with all nonsense, how can my only contraction is only a few minutes? If I have that understanding and invoke the presence of the Lord, at least rehearsal in the morning itself, when you really transact with them, you have this knowledge already. In case you forgot this knowledge and come back in the night, oh Lord, forgive me, I gave all gollies to my boss. Now recognize the presence of the Lord. This is yours. So at least when you start as a practicing, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha krishnati. By practicing it, it becomes natural to you. Where even in the field of action, this memory, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnyau, Brahmanautam, Brahmaivatena Ganthavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. This knowledge will be there all the time in the background, coming, flooding like that. Whenever I can turn, oh Lord, yes. In whatever you do, that becomes a manifest. That is the real jnana. And in that knowledge, you have recognized, remember just now in the last Prakutcheva Karmani Kriyamanani Sarvasa, I did that sloka, where Prakriti itself is doing all the actions itself. That also you recognize. I am just akartaham, abhoktaham, mahamevaham. I am never a doer nor enjoyer, but all the drama is going on in my presence. I am just boosting it. Okay, look at my drama. Gold says, I never became any ornaments, but yet I am shining in brilliantly in all ornaments without becoming really any ornaments. Look at my glory. Because it is malleable enough, ductile enough to be in any form and shape. That's its glory. Krishna himself says that. Pasyami yogavaishwaram. All beings are in me. Mastani sarvabhutani. All beings are in me. First statement. Like all ornaments are in me, gold can say. And say, Nacha mastani bhutani. Nobody is there in me. I am pure gold only. That also you can claim. And for that, Shraddha is required. And that is the knowledge. And here, Krishna glorifies that knowledge in the sloka 33 of the 4th chapter. Sreyan dravyamayad yajnat. Yan dravyamayad yajnat. Jnana yajna parantapa. Jnana yajna parantapa. Sarvam karma khilam partha. Jnane parisamapyate. Together, Sreyan dravyamaya jajnat jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma khilam partha jnani parisamapyati. So all actions, all dravyam, yajnas, you say yajnartham karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. We did that in the 3rd chapter. You perform everything in terms of yajna itself. But of all yajnas, the best is this jnana yajna. Jnana yajna is both from the student point as well as from the teacher point, as well as the parent's point. Jnana yajna is where yajna is understanding everything is nothing but yajna only. That's Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagya, everything is nothing but Brahman. That becomes a jnana yajna. And communicating this itself becomes a jnana yajna. Of all process of this is the highest thing in the world that you can get it. All other things of purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama are only temporarily to gain ultimately the moksha, liberation that only be gained because only through the knowledge. And that is offering yourself for the learning or for the teaching, for everything in this world becomes the highest yajna in the world. All other pursuits in life are for transactional purposes. Yes, I have to go to office, I have to take care of my wife, I have to take care of my husband, I have to take care of my child, I care all these things we are talking about. Don't get lost in it. Yes, you have to do what needs to be done. That's your dharma. I had to drive on the right-hand side. This country. In other place, you have to drive in the left-hand side. That's a dharma. Has to be followed. Oh, I am Vedantin, I can drive anywhere. No, that's not. You have to follow the rules of the society, rules of the nation, rules of whatever that is to be done. But that has only at the transactional level. For going one place to other place, I have to drive with the right-hand side. I'll be safe, other people also will be safe. Same way, whatever that is I am put in as a father, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a son, whatever, as a student, I had to do my part, my best in that situation. Then only the glory of that part comes out. In the process, everybody also will be happy. But highest one is knowing this. While transacting the world. Remember, Brahma, he is still doing yajna. Brahma, Panam, Brahmahavi. He is doing the havish. He is doing properly the yajna. He still not say, give me the ladle. He doesn't say, give me Brahman. Give me the ladle, give me the ghee, give me the fire, give me all those things. The transaction level will going on. At the same time, the background Shruti statement is there that this is nothing but Brahman, this is nothing but Brahman, this is nothing but Brahman also. In that process, what happens? All negative things drop out. Jealousies, hatred, selfishness, all those things drop out. The mind gets agitated only because of this. Remember, attachments are the biggest problem. Arjuna had this problem. We all have the same problem. Attachment is different from love. You can pour out love as much as you can. Same, but attachments will bind you. Can't you do anything much? Therefore, with that understanding, when you operate, every action can be the best. At the same time, your mind is tuned to the higher. All negative things automatically drop out. That becomes a karma yoga. That becomes a jnana yoga also now. With that understanding. And that is Shreyan Dravyamaya. That is highest than Adi. So to gain this knowledge, what should I do? That's what we are all doing. We're all Tadvidhi Pranipatena. This is 34. Tadvidhi Pranipatena. Pariprasnena Sevaya. Upadeshanti te jnanam. Jnaninah tattvadarshinaha. Together. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So in order to gain this knowledge, the scripture is advising us to go to a teacher. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Go to a teacher and then. So the scripture itself says that don't come to me directly. Because you get confused. You had to go to a teacher. How did the teacher learn? Teacher himself went, as a student, went to his teacher. So this is a Guru Parampara is there. There is also a method of teaching also involved. So as soon as it says, Chinmaya Mission people are teaching, and you know exactly what they are going to teach. Right? Because the seal is there. That seal tells you that he comes from that tradition. Therefore, you know what is, you don't expect Dvaita, Visishta Advaita teaching. It is only Advaita teaching will come up. So that is essentially a sampradayam. A methodology of teaching is there. And to gain the real knowledge, first you have to go to a teacher and gain the knowledge. And go to a teacher, pariprasnena sevaya, by offering your service and by asking the right questions, you have to learn. And so if I ask, how do you know that he's going to answer? It's always a question. I can ask questions, but does he know, how do you know he's going to answer? He says, Upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvarasina. The one who knows, he cannot but teach. Why? Not that he has to teach, but he cannot but teach for two reasons. One is, he was also in the same condition that you were, and out of compassion, his teacher taught him. Therefore, he knows the value. Number one. And second is, they're called the Acharya Runa. Acharya Runa is, there is an obligation to your teacher. Acharya Runa, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, if you go to Taittiriya Upanishad, it tells you, first you have to keep your teacher happy. So you first earn the money and give it to the teacher. So in the Upanishad it says you have to take with samitpanihi sotriyam brahmanishtam. You take the firewood because that's all they need at that time. And Swami Chinmayan says, we don't need firewood. Don't bring firewood to the classes. Just bring checkbooks only. Because that's what the mission needs to support. Not for his support. He doesn't need anything. Because we are all able to sit here and talk there because somebody else donated this, right? And build it. And it becomes our responsibility so that our next generations also get benefit and so on and so forth. This propagating knowledge becomes Acharya Runa. So not only I had to learn, but I had to pass on this knowledge to my children, to my grandchildren, or to everybody in this world that I can practice. That becomes his obligation to his teacher. Therefore he teaches. And therefore, you don't have to worry. He will teach when you approach with a proper attitude. In the 18th chapter, Krishna himself glorifies a Vedantic teacher and tells whom he should teach and whom he should not teach also. And whom to teach? The one who has full faith, only to them you have to teach. And What do I get? What is the requirement? And that is called Shraddha. The faith in that is glorified in this state, in this chapter itself. But what do I gain out of this knowledge? This is Sloka 35. Yajñātvā na punarmoham, yajñātvā na punarmoham, yevam yasyasi pandava, yevam yasyasi pandava, yeta bhutanyaseshena, yeta bhutanyasena, drakshyasyatmanyatho mayi, drakshyasyatmanyatho mayi, together. Yajñātvā na punarmoham, yevam yasyasi pandava, yena bhutanyaseshena, drakshyasyatmanatho mayi. So, yajñātvā na punarmoham, there is no more delusion. Delusion is, an illusion is always there. Illusion is varieties of names and forms are called illusion. But taking the illusion as real is the delusion. Chair I see is real chair. No, that is only Brahman, only in that form. That becomes knowledge. He is real, she is real, they is real, everybody is real. That's all we are transacting with. They are only relatively real. Absolutely they are not real. They are only names and forms. Absolutely real is, they are all nothing but Brahman only in that form, in this form, in this form, in that form, in that form. That becomes a knowledge. So I have no more delusion now, but only illusion is there. Now what should be my attitude? Then it becomes the beauty manifesting everywhere. In the 10th chapter of Gita, Krishna says, look at my vibhuti. These are all my vibhutis only. So whatever I see is nothing but my vibhuti only, but I am only giving you a list of it, some of the things that your mind has captured. So with this jnanam, how should you look at the whole universe? It is the vibhuti of the Lord. Okay? Now, how does this imply? Whenever now I transact with varieties of, even though my boss is a rotten guy, that is the glory of the Lord expressing in this form also. Admire, you're switched off already. So, that becomes the Vaibhavam. But when I perform now, let us forget about the boss now. When I perform now, I should express through this body, mind, intellect, the vibhuti of the Lord. Okay? What does it mean? It means, see, flower, rose flower, when you look, it attracts your mind. Saundaryam. Saundaryam is, there is an attraction, immediately the mind is captured there. There is no duality anymore that this is a flower and this is me, because you are absorbed. Oh, wow, all sounds will come. Oh, beautiful. Those are all just sounds. Your mind is captured by the beauty that is projected. Right? When you see a beautiful flower, anything that beauty inside the universe, your mind gets captured. When you go to Niagara Falls, that's it. Arrest. That is what the Saundaryam really means. Rama was Saundaryam. I had some article in the Ramayana and say, Rama is beautiful because they could not even fight. Looking at him, he is so captivating. Now, those rose flower, all those naturally they express their beauty. Rose cannot but be rose. It cannot be jasmine. But it does whatever it can do within its swadharma. Whereas a human being has a choice. How I act, how I perform, how I behave myself, I have a choice. But therefore, once I understood this fact, I had to express the beauty of the Lord in me in such a way it should be captivating for everybody. That means every action, everything that I project has to be, the vibhuti has to be expressed. That choice, I had to make it. That means I had to make my life worthy of living. Everybody lives, everybody goes. Millions of people are dying and millions of people are living. What is their biography? How many people will ever remember after that? If I die, people cry a couple of days, they cry 3 days, 10 days, 5 days, okay, 1 year. After that, slowly, they forget. We are remembering even now this name here and this. Yes, Vibhuti is still there. There's a Chinmaya Vibhuti is being built in the Pune. Why? Because he didn't live for himself. I don't know how many people would know. The last yajna of Gurudev was in Washington. Last camp, in fact. And he was giving lectures, thundering lectures, sitting on the stage, and he was collapsing after that. Every day. We were there at that time. So doctors advised her not to talk. And a couple of days, in fact, he could not even get up from the bed. Swami Tejamananda took those classes. But he poured out even because the blood was not even going to the legs enough. Heart was only 1/3 or 1/8 of pumping. But still, that was the law. But when he was sitting on the stage, it was outpouring the talk itself. And after that only he went to San Diego, even against the wishes of the doctors. He went because the program was there scheduled in San Diego, and there he passed away. So last drop of blood was in fact given here. There's the yajna. Why? That is the beauty that is ever remembered, and generations will get benefit out of it. That is, my friends, is the real life also. And if we can live up to that, we are essentially passing on that knowledge. And therefore, our vibhuti has to come. The life becomes enchanting and noble only if I have that values and project myself to beautify my environment as well as the environment others, because other people automatically follow. You don't have to teach. Automatically it comes. He made sure that everyone is disciplined. Everything has to be exact. And that he taught us also. Besides sitting yajnas and all that, those who know went close to him, everything, including the way in which envelopes is folded, there was a mastery in that also. It's a beauty is involved. And that we were watching besides all the other learning process. And that's why any Chinmaya mission activities, when you talk about arrangements, all that, everything will be perfectly there. All organized to the best that they can do. And all that inputs is because of his teaching only, methodology of teaching. That comes automatically. When you perform, others automatically will try to follow that as the model. That becomes not only you, but generations can get help out of it. And that is real life. Otherwise, sitting every day, dinaya munyau sayam pratah sasira vasantau punarayatah kala kridati gacchatyatyo tadapina punchatya ashavahi. One day we kicked the bucket, every day coming, every day going. Weeks came, weeks went, seasons came, season came. Oh, it's too hot, we complain. It's too cold, we complain. It's too raining, we complain. It's too hot, no raining, we complain. We complain all the time and all that. Enjoy the beauty of the nature and be participant in that. Then life becomes beautiful itself. So with this, one more sloka we do, 39 from this chapter, because this is one of the beautiful chapters that I do. Shraddha van labate jnanam, van labate jnanam. Tatpara samyatendriyaha jnanam ladva param shantim achirenadhi gacchati Together. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatpara samyate indriyaha jnanam labdha param shantim achirena gacchati. In the previous sloka that we started, I forgot one statement. It says, so not only moham is not there, evam yasyasi pandava, there is no more delusion. So ena bhutani aseshena drakshasi atmani athamayi. It's a very beautiful statement I missed here. It says, all these bhutani aseshena, all beings in this holy world, I see now as nothing but the glory of the Lord or glory of myself. Now look at the way this is essentially Mahavakya is embedded here in this statement. So he says, Atmani, in your own self, you see the whole thing is nothing but your own whole glory itself is in you, or yourself itself is glory. It's look at my glory, or my glory. Either way is the knowledge. For the sake of Ishvara, I can say, oh, it's all Ishvara Vibhuti. But who is Ishvara? Is it different from you? No. That's what is the Mahavakya. Vakya is Aham Brahmasmi is the Vakya. I am the Brahman. So, Brahma eva tena gantav. Everything is nothing but Brahman only. That becomes a samadhi where I myself recognize it is in me. So he is nothing but me only in that form, in that shape. Now look at what is me here. I am the light of consciousness that is pervading everywhere, reflected in the particular mind in that way. Mind is different. The reflection therefore depends on the reflecting medium. But I am the one that is getting reflected through that. So sun is looking at this and looking, hey, all that is all shining is nothing but me only. Including the moon that is shining and the moon reflected, the objects are shining and including everything is nothing but my glory only, you can say, right? But here, there is consciousness, existence is the same. And I am the one expressing in different forms at the same time, enjoying in different ways. So you can look at that way. All are nothing but my own glory. Oh, they are misbehaving. That's my glory. Because in the drama, when the drama is going on, you need a villain, you need a hero, you need all those drama. Otherwise, the drama will be boring. The villain has to kick the hero a couple of times, left and right. He may be his friend outside. But in the drama, it has to be done. Then only the entertainment. So all that is enjoyable, including the tragedies also. That's why people watch tragedies. So why are you crying unnecessarily? Turn the TV. Oh, no, I want to watch this. Hero are dying there. I still crying and so many, the tissue papers are all going, but still I want to watch. Why? Entertainment. But when I am suffering, I don't. Even this, when I never suffer because I am akarta, aham abhokta, I am never suffer, I am pure consciousness. How can I suffer? The body, mind and intellect has to go through the process. If that understanding is there, every drama, every tragedy, every comedy, every fun, all that becomes beautiful, I can enjoy. Just as a millionaire actor acting like a beggar, being kicked left and right on the scene. He becomes more a millionaire because of that, right? But he knows, I am a millionaire actor only playing a role here. That knowledge he has. I am Brahman playing a role here as this body, mind, intellect. This body, mind, intellect are limited. They will be kicking left and right by all other bodies, mind and intellects. But I can still enjoy the drama as a drama if I can detach myself and look at the drama. That is essentially Krishna says, either you can see it as my glory or your own glory. There is not too different. In the 6th chapter I will tell you that again. But that is the Mahavakya. Bodhana is there in that. And Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Therefore, one who has full faith in this knowledge, alone can recognize. Our problem is we understand in the class, but this understanding doesn't come and in the day-to-day transactions because Shraddha is not complete. It's called purity of the mind. Chitta Suddhi is not there. So what should I do? Keep on listening, keep on listening, keep on listening, and perform the action as a karma yoga. Slowly, 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 mind gets purified. The knowledge that you are hearing becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. The more you listen, the more mind gets back to this knowledge, and the more you start applying into the world. So how long I have to listen? Until you become one with it. No more doubts. I am Brahman, period. If I ask anybody, have you realized? What should you say? What is there to realize? You don't have to answer that question. What is there to realize? There is nothing to realize. I am, period. I was, I am, I will be. Every time I am only that. I have realized that I am not all this nonsense that I thought. I am pure, eternally, ever-existing consciousness that I am. No jnani will declare that I have realized because there is no need. Realization is only at the mental level. Other people cannot know the mind. It's only faith-based because I don't know what the other people's mind is. Therefore, don't ever ask anybody, have you realized? Only thing is, am I realized? And that realization is litmus test is, I see the vibhuti everywhere. Okay? With that, we'll stop and we'll do Purnam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let's do Chinmaya Mission Pledge. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly, the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May Thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities, give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.